Hi everybody, welcome back. And it's been a week or two since I was talking about the exercise of standing like a post, and we've had some feedback and there have been a few questions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a third segment onto this topic, and then I'll let it go for a while. You can experiment with some of those ideas or digest those ideas into what you're doing. And then later on, I'll share with you some of the other discoveries and things that I've come across in my own practice. But there's one thing I do want to share with you that is something that I evolved myself over a period of time that is very similar to what they're doing in the Orient, the people who do this as a deep meditative practice. And part of standing like a post is getting your body to relax completely. But there's something else that you work on as you do it. And that's getting your mind to relax completely. In the internal arts, it's your thought or your intent that drives the flow of energy or chi. And I've used this expression before for many years with my own students. That chi is sort of like a hound dog chasing after a rabbit in the beginning. You have to learn to project your thought where you want for your energy and your chi to follow. Later on, it all becomes one. It all integrates into a single process. But it's very hard to grasp that intuitively at first. So in the old days, I developed some personal exercises that I used to free my mind from the physical restraints that my body had. Because not only do you have to relax your body, you have to learn to relax your mind and your thought. A lot of people can move their bodies just fine, but their thoughts are stuck. So I'm just going to give you a graphic, step-by-step example of a very basic first-level approach to entering this process, which everyone in my group employs. And you can weigh the merits against things that you're doing and decide whether it has value for you. So we're in the first, actually let's take it even more basic than that. Let's go to the very first standing like a post position, which is what I call chi. This is like the essence of nothingness. Okay, and we explained this in the previous video, so I'm not going to talk a lot about the exercise itself, except that you hold this for a certain amount of time that you're comfortable with. Now, as you're doing this, imagine there's a marble that's centered right here in your sternum. And that marble is the center of your consciousness. Okay? And as you hold this position, you're going to let that marble roll down your right arm to the fingertips. From the fingertips, it drops to the ground. And in the ground, it's picked up by the base or bottom of your right foot or the arch of your right foot. From there, the marble ascends up the right leg into your body, crosses over, up the hip, to your center, projects out to the left arm. And in the left arm, it does the opposite of what happened on the right side. It drops from the fingertips to the ground, into the earth, up the leg, back to the starting point. So here you have, your thought is forming a figure eight or a conical kind of motion in the air. It sort of looks like this as it's floating around. And that's your thought and your consciousness, but later it becomes your energy, and all this is invisible to anyone who's attacking you, but it's like having a force shield out there when somebody's coming at you, and later on it evolves to different kinds of motions, and you can sort of see what's happening. But let's go back to the thought again. We'll talk you through this a few times. You're here, down the right arm, drops to the ground, up the right leg, cross body, into the left arm, from the left arm to the ground, up the left leg, back to starting point. And I think you got the idea. Just talk it out loud to yourself now. If you said down the right arm, you are correct. What's next? To the ground, then the right, to the right leg. You can do this. Up the right leg to the center. Where now? Right, you're correct. The left arm drops to where? To the ground. And what happens next? Comes up the left leg and goes to the center point. Take just a few seconds now and work through that mentally. And as you work through it mentally, let your body manifest that flow in a very subtle fashion so that you can actually feel that your body's resonating with your thought as you do it. And then let that just sort of quiet down and relax on its own. And that becomes part of the integral flow to your body and also your energy. And this will be how you begin to manipulate energy in your body. See, what a lot of people lack when they try to use force is they physically go after something out there, but their mind is still back here. So they have the biomechanical energy part of it just fine. There's a lot of impact. But without your mind in it, you don't have the internal aspect. And the internal aspect, combined with knowledge of balance and awareness of balance and how you can move a person's balance, is where the real power lies, especially if you're an older person like myself and you don't have quite as much, I have a lot of mechanical energy left, but not nearly as much as I used to, so I have to use a lot of the internal arts. You'll get the idea when you're my age, of course. Okay, so after you've done a few cycles of that, what do you do next? Go the opposite way. Okay, now I want to talk you through this. Left side starts in the center, drops to the shoulder, to the left arm, drops to the ground, up the left foot, through the center, to the right arm, drops down, up the right foot, through the center, across to the left arm, down, up the left foot, over to the right arm, and then the cycle continues. Same thing, let your body echo what your thought is producing there, so that everything's working together as one singular thought and movement. And you have this flow. It's almost like an ocean inside your body. Now, I'm going down the left to the right. And what I'm going to do is right in the middle of this, I'm going to switch my thinking so that it's going from the right to the left. Now I'm going to switch from right to left. And my thought is developing the ability to work three-dimensionally here. My thought is developing the ability to go wherever it wants, because if my thought is completely free to move wherever it wants, my internal energy and my chi can follow it at will, and it becomes very explosive. But if your thought is limited, if you're struggling through this exercise, which is quite basic, you really need to work it extensively to free your thought, and then you go on to more advanced exercises. Okay, so you got the idea there. This is really big. This standing like a post is really big. It pays dividends really quickly, and by quickly I mean within the course of a year, not 5 to 10 years like some other things take. This produces results really quickly, and if you experiment with it, you'll see other movements increasing in their energy and dynamic as your relaxation develops and completely envelopes everything that you do. So this is an add-on exercise to standing like a post, as I said, and we're going to talk more about this in the future, but for now I think these 3 lessons that we provided in the most recent weeks will give you a good grounding for practice as a general introduction of information about the topic, which on your own and with the guidance of your instructor you can explore to decide if this stuff works for you or doesn't, or whether or not it's even something you want to explore. But in the meantime, I'll keep doing it on my end because I have found that it's productive, and I'll see you down the line, okay? And always glad to hear from you, so keep us in mind in your thoughts.